The environment of Comal County, Texas in 1850 was dramatically different from what you see today. At that time, the landscape reflected a relatively undisturbed Edwards Plateau Balcones Fault transition zone with dense native vegetation, abundant surface water, and a more intact hydrological and ecological system. Here's a comparative breakdown: vegetation and flora. Then versus now. In 1850, virgin woodlands dominated, particularly in the hillier regions, with thick stands of ash juniper, live oak, post oak, mesquite, and cedar elm. Riparian zones along Comal Springs, Dry Comal Creek, and the Guadalupe River were lush with bald cypress, pecan, sycamore, and a diverse understory of ferns, wild grapes, and maidenhair. German immigrants like Ferdinand Lindheimer, the father of Texas botany, described the region as a botanical paradise, teeming with plant diversity. The Blackland prairie margins closer to San Antonio were also less developed, with tall grasses like little bluestem, Indian grass, and switchgrass. Today, much of the native prairie is gone, replaced by urban sprawl, ranching, and non-native grasses like King Ranch bluestem and Bermuda grass. Ash juniper is native, and back then were described as stately and majestic. Riparian corridors have been fragmented and narrowed, although some efforts like Landa Park in New Braunfels preserve remnants of old-growth bald cypress stands. Water abundance versus scarcity. In 1850, Comal Springs, fed by the Edwards Aquifer, flowed robustly year-round, forming the headwaters of the Comal River. The Guadalupe River was unregulated, free-flowing. Numerous minor springs, seeps, and ephemeral streams dotted the limestone landscape. Floodplains and recharge zones were intact, allowing efficient infiltration of rainfall into the aquifer. Today, Comal Springs still flows, but spring flow has declined significantly due to aquifer pumping from San Antonio and industrial agricultural withdrawals. Canyon Lake Dam has altered natural flood cycles and sediment transport on the Guadalupe. Many ephemeral creeks and minor springs have dried up due to urbanization and groundwater decline. The aquifer is now under constant monitoring and regulation due to overuse and drought concerns. Wildlife and fauna. In 1850, large mammals like white-tailed deer, black bear, bobcats, wild turkeys, and even occasional mountain lions roamed freely. Rivers and springs were full of native fish, amphibians, and aquatic insects. Migratory birds used the area as part of the Central Flyway, nesting in untouched woodland canopies. Today, black bears are extirpated. Large predators are rare or eliminated. Deer populations have exploded due to lack of predators and overgrazing. Habitat loss has led to declining biodiversity, though conservation efforts are underway for species like the Comal Springs riffle beetle and fountain darter, which are endangered. Landscape and land use. In 1850, fields were often cleared manually and surrounded by native forests and wildlands. Soil erosion was minimal, and karst features like sinkholes, caves, and springs remained open and unpolluted. Today, New Braunfels has become one of the fastest-growing cities in the U.S., with extensive suburban and commercial development. Paved surfaces reduce infiltration and increase runoff, contributing to flash flooding and aquifer recharge loss. Quarrying, road cuts, and housing developments have damaged or destroyed many karst features. There is more awareness now of the importance of land stewardship, with some areas placed under conservation easements or restoration projects. Climate and microclimate. In 1850, the climate was semi-arid to subhumid, with distinct wet and dry seasons, but more consistent groundwater recharge thanks to intact vegetation. Microclimates around springs and creeks created cool, moist zones with diverse plant and animal life. Today, the region remains semi-arid, but average temperatures have increased and rainfall is more erratic. Urban heat islands and reduced vegetation cover contribute to localized warming. Springs that once maintained cool, clear flow year-round are now susceptible to drying in prolonged droughts. Summary table. Then versus now. Environmental feature 1850. Comal County. Today's Comal County vegetation dense native forests, prairie fragmented, dominated by ash juniper, urban turf, aquifer recharge intact, robust spring flow impaired, reduced spring output, wildlife diverse, large fauna, fragmented populations, some extirpated surface water, natural river dynamics, controlled by canyon dam land, use, scattered homesteads, open range subdivisions, highways, commercial zones, climate effects, stable groundwater buffered heat island effect, faster runoff karst features, preserved, open to recharge, covered, damaged, polluted.